We are returning to the dark side. I got some new glasses. Hope you like them. As many other people, my love for retro gaming started with emulation back in the late 2000s when emulation really became feasible for like a small child like me. And over the years, I went away from that. I love my real hardware. I spent hundreds of euros to play old consoles on my TV and enjoying them that way. And I always thought that hassle is worth it to play on real hardware and not to emulate. I've made some bad experiences with emulation ever since I played Chrono Trigger on an emulator, and then the saves got mixed up with I was saving through the normal saving system, then it loaded a save state, and 10 hours of gameplay were gone. So I made some bad experiences and I prefer real hardware. However, big change, I started to jump right back into emulation and got one of those awesome retro gaming handhelds. I used to, as a portable emulation machine, I used to use my PSP. However, that screen is not that great. It's widescreen, first of all. It's not up to today's standards. And for retro emulation, I mean, the PSP scene is pretty much dead at this point. There are no new developments when it comes to new emulators and accuracy. So I thought I'd jump into the retro handheld market, which had been exploding lately. All these little Tiger electronic handhelds you used to get are now emulation boxes for the past 10 years, but they were always horrible. They couldn't even play Nintendo, Super Nintendo properly. But these things became awesome like 3 years ago. And I personally went to the now one of the older ones, the Anbernic RG351MP. And I have to tell you, shopping for one of these things is hell. Because there is an RG351M and an RG351P. So when I was researching these and I found the MP, I thought, okay, maybe that's just a word to combine the two. Because hardware-wise, the M and the P are the same. One just has a metal body and one has a plastic body. That's why they're M and P. However, the 351MP is a totally different console. Same internals, same design, but the screen, and this was the kicker for me, is 4:3 instead of 3:2, I think. So the original screen for the 351M and P, they were perfect for Game Boy Advance emulation because 3:2 is the Game Boy Advance resolution. Anything else, like you had bars like top, bottom, left to right, you have to work with bezels and all of that. That wasn't for me. And then I found the MP 4:3 screen, which means it's perfect for most older consoles, and even many handhelds run fine on it. Of course, Game Boy Advance, which is a system I really like, doesn't look as great as on the regular M or P models. However, so what am I doing with this? So, and this is what I really love. First of all, the quality is great. I've had some problems from people, I don't have any. The buttons are a bit spongy, but they're perfectly fine. I mainly play old RPGs on this, so this is all fine. This is great, 2 analog sticks. And why I finally bought one of these is because they are now capable of pretty much, well, not perfectly, but really well emulate the PlayStation 1. So I can play a lot of PlayStation 1 RPGs I've not been able to before, because running PlayStation 1 games on real hardware is a pain in the ass. I'll give you a bit more details on that later. Start, select. We have shoulder buttons for. Many people don't like that they're like next to each other, like on the 3DS. But I don't mind that. They are rather clicky though. which isn't a bad thing, but if you are playing late at night next to your girlfriend or something while she's trying to sleep, it could be a bit annoying. And the D-pad is awesome. Coming from the Switch D-pad, the PlayStation D-pad, this D-pad is really great. I really like this one. Here we have a sleep button. This is the back of the device, here 351MP. You have some rubber pads, so it doesn't move around, like at all. And volume controls. These are the only things I don't really like, but we'll talk about that later. So, let's get it out of sleep. And here are all the emulators. There is custom firmware. I'm running 351 elec on here because it pre-programs all the emulators to basically have the best output for this device and for this screen. So I got a few collections. I recently started ripping all of my PlayStation 1 games. And now I finally have the ability to play Xenogears. This is one of the games I always wanted to play, but I couldn't. Because I have a modded PlayStation 1, but you know, the disk drives, they're starting to die. And with consoles I really care about, like the Dreamcast, I have no problem spending hundreds of euros of getting that thing set up for modern standards, like putting in the mode, an SSD, VGA output, all of that. PlayStation 1 is a bit more tricky. Putting in the mode, like I cannot mod, I need to hire someone to do that. The mode is expensive, RGB, you have to 60 Hertz mod it and all of that. I don't care about the PlayStation 1 enough to do that. I found a way around that. There is a way to boot PlayStation 1 games from either the SSD of a PlayStation 2 or I do it over Raspberry Pi over the network. Which works fine. It's awesome. I love to play PlayStation 1 games that way. However, Xenogears is one of those games that does not work on a PlayStation 2. It just glitches out, graphical issues everywhere. So, Xenogears, you either play it on the original PlayStation 1 or you emulate. So, I chose the emulation route. And having PlayStation 1 RPGs on the go, we had that since the PSP. I did that on the PSP. However, like having them all on this device, it's just so great. I have my Wild Arms, you have Suikoden. I played through all of Klonoa on here. Excited for the remake collection. Back to Nature, Azure Dreams. All of these games I really want to play. Here's the rest of my collection. You have Grandia. All of these games. For the PlayStation, I only have some of the games I want to play through. We have some systems I always wanted, the Pokemon Mini. I always wanted that. I grew up in the late 90s and in the 2000s. Tamagotchis and Pokemon, and you combine them into the Pokemon Mini. I always wanted to get all the games, but they're rather pricey. And most of them are not really great. The best one is Pokemon Tetris. And I've been playing that for more time than I'd like to admit. It's a really good way of playing Tetris. People are porting things to this system. You have here Cannonball. I need to get all the files to get that running. Man, I'd love to get into Cannonball here. We have the Game Boy emulator. I can play Link's Awakening. These are the screenshots where I was playing. Master System, one of my favorite systems. I put on the entire library. I can play everything at any time. Mega Drive, full library of games. I can play anything at any time. Super Nintendo, I put on the whole library right here. And I'm not a big Super Nintendo fan, so I don't care about playing the original hardware. But emulation, like I can finally get into some of these Super Nintendo RPGs I've been wanting to play for so long. Wonder Swan, one of the systems that doesn't really work well when you emulate it, and especially on these devices it's a bit better because they switch aspect ratio and screen orientation. So you have this, and then you have to flip it around for some levels. So WonderSwan, even though it's a cool system, I haven't gotten that much time into it. Game Boy Advance, is this Game Boy? No, this is my favorite. All the games, you can favorite your games, and you have a nice little list. I played a lot of Mario Golf. I just popped that in one night, and yeah, never really stopped playing. I can play fan translations and all of that, things that have not easily been possible to me in the past. We have Game Boy, full library of Game Boy. I always wanted to check out the Final Fantasy Legends or the Saga games. Yeah, it's just so nice. The screen is so perfect. Game Boy Advance, having Friends of Mineral Town, On the Go, Sonic Advance, all of these games I either remember from back then, or I'm just so in love with the Game Boy Advance. I really want to replay some of them, like the Mega Man Zero games. I've never played them before, and I really like the graphic style and everything about them. And I have a Boktai machine now, so I can play the Boktai games with the solar panel hack. Game Boy Color, I always wanted to play a Grandia Parallel Trippers, which got a fan translation, I think, last year. And I finally gave it a chance, fan translated. It's okay. We have the Game Gear in case I ever want to play any games in a worse way than on the Master System. Neo Geo, just going through this. I recently picked... damn, what is the name? I totally forgot. Some anime out of the bargain bin at a store, and I found out that it has a Neo Geo game, and I could play the Neo Geo game. What was it? I totally... Oh, 8-Man! 8-Man, exactly. So I recently got out of the bargain bin for like €1.50, 8-Man After. Like old school anime, it's hard to find at stores anyway. So when I found that, I just watched it. It's pretty cool. And there's an 8-Man game on the Neo Geo, though I cannot find it right now. So Neo Geo, not a system I'm really into. I'm not a huge arcade gamer, more into the RPG stuff, but it's just cool to have these games. Neo Geo Pocket. The Evolution games on the Dreamcast are some of my favorite games, and many people don't know that Emulation, that Evolution got a port to the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Well, now you know, and I have a chance to play it now. So, very cool. Another game I always wanted to play, Sonic Pocket Adventure, which is an awesome 8-bit, let's say, adaptation of Sonic 2. This is awesome. This is probably one of the best looking 2D Sonic games, in my opinion. It looks way better and even plays way better than any of the Master System games. If you are a Sonic fan and you have not checked this out yet, Sonic Pocket Adventure, amazing version of a Sonic game. Yeah, we have NES, some games. There are some RPGs that I never played. Yeah, I don't care about the Nintendo systems that much. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, I don't give a crap. But there are some games I want to play, and this is my way of playing it. So we have the PC Engine. I need to get some more games on here. This is just a small selection of games. A lot of great RPGs. I need to replay Ys 4 at one point. That was an awesome game. Yeah, so these are all the systems I have on here right now, and it runs fantastically. Here, let me boot up. Yeah, let's go into PlayStation 1, because yeah, all the other systems, the emulators are okay. So Super Nintendo uses SNEX 9X, for example. It's not the most accurate emulator. It doesn't run, what is it, Hygiene or something, but it's totally fine. So let's just start Clonoa right here. I needed some time to get used to the saving system, but anyway. Once you get the hang of like the whole emulation station thing, it works way better than I used to use a Raspberry Pi 2 at one point to emulate games. And that thing, I had Recalbox and RetroPie, both are just so horrible. I mean, I could never get used to using that thing. Every time you plugged in your controller and you had to remap everything, I never liked it. This system makes it so easy and so awesome. Like I said, I played through all of Clonoa on here, just put it in one day, excited for the remake collection, and simply played through all of Clonoa. And the best thing is, I rip all of my games myself, or my PlayStation games at least, and I can run my PAL games in 60 Hz. So I don't even need to get the US version or something, I just can play it in 60 Hz, even though I have the crappy German PAL version. And that's so cool. PlayStation 1 is the best you will get out of this. So everything before the PlayStation 1 is totally fine. Nintendo 64, I've heard there are some games that work. I want to try out Harvest Moon 64, that's okay. But don't expect to play any N64 on here. There is a Saturn emulator that apparently works with a handful of very simple games. So sadly, I will not have the chance to play some of these Saturn games I always wanted. What is it? The sequel to Landstalker. It's something, because I've played Landstalker, I love that. Time Stalker on the Dreamcast. And then there is Dark Savior. Dark Savior is that game. I always wanted to play that. And luckily, Saturn emulation has come pretty far in the last 10 years, so that it actually works now. And one day I want to get, I don't know, I'm thinking of turning my old Windows laptop into an emulation machine, if it can run these emulators well enough. So plugging that into my TV, maybe checking out some Saturn at that point. So I think that's the end of the video. I just wanted to show you, like, I'm back into emulation. I'm having so much fun playing these games that I did not have the chance either technically, like they don't run on the hardware I have, or systems I don't care about modding and getting all of the equipment I need, like the Super Nintendo or the regular Nintendo, especially regular Nintendo, getting that RGB modded, 60 Hz modded, all of that not worth it to me for someone who cares about maybe checking out a few of these games. But anyway, what do you think? Have you checked out some of these emulation devices in the past? I can recommend this. I'm super happy with it. The only negative is the audio control is really annoying. It takes a long time to move up or down. Like you hold this thing or you press the button, it needs like 500 presses. At least it feels that way. But once you have it set, it's all fine. The speakers are all right. They're down here. There are two SD cards. One you can put the firmware on, and the other one you can put your games on. So you can quickly change between all of that. Anyway, so I've been really into handheld gaming over the last few weeks. I played some on my TV too. I just finished Peace Walker, by the way. It's alright. Peace Walker, alright. And I started and I just finished Ground Zeroes. Another video I want to do in the coming, I don't know, time is I finally, before the server shut down, got my 3DS soft modded, put an SD card on here. If you're interested, let me know. I'll give you a little tour of what I have on my 3DS and how I manage all of that. By the way, if you want to compare size, This is the 3DS, the new 3DS, the normal one. And this device is practically the same size. It's practically one-to-one with the regular 3DS. So very portable, very nice. So we are already at 20 minutes. I wish you all a fantastic weekend. See you next time. Bye. I need to turn it off now.